Hello, I'm Jyotika. Welcome back to Excelling Psychology. In the last lesson, we have looked at bias for one concept of IB psychology. And in that video, I have explained the idea behind this series to you. What we are doing in these videos, how we are approaching the concepts. So, if you need to familiarize yourself with how we are going about these videos, please watch the previous one. I won't be able to repeat everything in this one. In this video, in the same way that we learned how to prepare for bias, we are going to learn how to prepare for causality. And last time I told you I will see whether I want to take the same passage again or a different one. I decided on taking the same one. Let me show to you how for any stimulus you can apply all the six concepts. So I have decided that for all the six videos, the situation is going to be the same. We are just going to approach it from a different concept each time. Before we begin, I want you to know that I do take private classes for IB psychology. If you're interested in scheduling classes with me, my contact details are available in the description box and pin comment below. And if you need to purchase notes for your course, you're looking for model answers, practice questions and answers, those are already available on the store. And time to time, I keep on releasing more notes like revision notes, past paper solutions. So you can bookmark the store link and keep it. It is there in the description box and pin comment below. Okay, let's begin with today's class in which we are practicing for causality. It will also help us to revise the technique we had used last time, how we had gone about preparing for bias, like first annotating the passage, then finalizing the points, and then practicing expansion of one point. That same thing we will be doing here with respect to causality. What are some of the common points that we can consider when it comes to causality? So now you can see on the screen, I'm going to write and give you, just like for biases, I had given you the common ones. See, one concept which is one point which is always applicable under causality, in fact, it is the defining feature of causality, is manipulation of variables. So, definitely, any discussion of causality will only involve some point about manipulation. As I have told you in the last lesson, either manipulation will be a strength or it'll be a weakness. Either way, you can take it. You don't have to take only criticisms. Applying concepts does not mean just keep on finding faults or weaknesses with the study. So, definitely, manipulation comes in here. A very close one related to this is control of confounding variables. So, control over like possibly confounding variables. Because along with manipulation to establish a cause effect relationship, we always need control over confounding. Another is like temporality or sequence that we always consider under causality. We want to establish that one variable is the cause of the other. So the cause has to come before the effect, it has to precede the effect. So temporal sequencing, or again, like I've told you, terminology can be different. Somewhere it will be called sequencing, somewhere it will be called a temporal order or something like that. So that is one more thing we will consider. And of course, alternative explanations. If we are saying that they're possibly confounding variables, control is not much, manipulation is not there, then what can be the real cause? If this is not the cause effect, we can see what is the possible cause effect that we could establish. So these four are like the king points when it comes to causality. Just want to very quickly remind you of something. These are not the only points that you can apply for causality. Many others are possible. These are the best ones to talk about. These are the most common ones. That's why I have taken them. You are free to take any relevant point of causality. By no means am I saying that these are the only points you can discuss. These are the best points in my opinion. What is the next thing we do? We go over the stimulus, actively looking out for portions of the stimulus that can help us to establish these points. So we keep on annotating, we keep on marking where in the stimulus we can find points that will help us to support any of these pointers that we are looking out for. So now we will do that. The stimulus is known to you by now. You've seen it in the last video, so I'll go over it quickly. I don't think it should be a problem. It's the schema, supermarket, grocery shopping thing. So researchers wanted to investigate whether schemas influence memory for everyday events. As I had pointed out last time, this is the aim of the study. As of now, like here in the aim, we don't have anything with causality. Of course, we get to see like what they want to establish is a cause behind what, like they want to establish schema is the cause behind whatever memory participants show. But right now, there's no point for discussion over here. But of course, we are registering and we are noting that, okay, this is the aim. This will help us to further establish whether, they have been able to successfully show this in the study or not, this cause and effect they've been able to establish. You can mark it off like, schemas are the assumed cause over here and memory is the effect. That way you can just note and keep, though it's not a direct pointer for discussion, but it can help to keep referencing back. Okay, then they recruited those students and the ages of the students are given and the fact that they are volunteers. They were told that the study was examining memory for short films and each participant watched a 2-minute video of a woman visiting a supermarket to buy groceries. See, when it comes to controls, we have learnt in research methods that standardization is one type of control. When everyone gets to see the same things, they're exposed to the same procedure, that becomes a control by itself. By ensuring that everyone is exposed to the same conditions, we are not allowing other variables like fluctuations or differences, variations in what they are getting to see or how they are being instructed from influencing the results of the study. So definitely this section can help us in discussing controls. So I will mark it as such. Okay, the video included 18 ordinary shopping events, but it deliberately omitted several common supermarket actions such as taking a shopping basket or paying with a loyalty card. After watching the video, participants completed a 12-minute Sudoku puzzle to reduce immediate rehearsal. So here we get to see that temporality that I was talking to you about. After watching the video, then they give the memory test. So one thing happens before watching the video in which all that schema related supermarket situations there, and then they recall. So there is a temporal order. That point will get supported from here. Okay, and they had to identify 20 events and 20 plausible supermarket events that had never occurred. For every answer, they also rated their confidence on a 5-point scale. Two researchers independently scored the recognition test using the same marking guide before comparing their results. This two of them scoring also using the same marking guide. All this is control, like interscorer reliability is a control, and then they are using same marking scheme, which again is a type of standardization that we were discussing earlier. So controls, looks like controls is going to be a solid point that we can take here. So this is the procedure. Then we have the results. Results conclusion are unlikely to bring us anything in causality also, but in case if I see anything relevant, I will mark it. As far as 1 point we've taken alternative explanations is concerned, that we won't be able to get directly in the passage, that we will have to brainstorm about. So I've not marked anything related to that here, that I will show to you when we come to the point. So participants correctly recognized an average of 16.8 of 20 real events, but they also falsely recognized average of 6.3 market events that never appeared in the video. False memories most commonly involve taking a shopping basket, scanning loyalty card, and placing groceries on a conveyor belt. The researchers concluded that existing schemas can help people organize memories and may also lead them to remember expected events that never happened. Yes, I just realized that conclusion can help us in causality. I thought that conclusion won't help us, but the conclusion that they have come to, that because of use of schemas, participants are making these recognition errors. They did not manipulate schema. Now that we have read the whole procedure, we come to realize that nowhere have they manipulated the schemas that participants were using. They only manipulated the situation which they showed them. That also we can't call it manipulation because there are no like two levels or two conditions of the IV at least. It's just that everyone's being exposed to a schema situation, a supermarket situation. This is very much like a controlled or laboratory observation. It's not even a proper experiment. So once we've come to the conclusion, we've read the whole procedure throughout, we've realized that there's no basis for this conclusion that they are drawing. The cause effect they are assuming is not well supported. So no manipulation becomes clear here. Okay, now you have seen the annotations that I have made for this passage. You can take a screenshot if you need to go over everything before coming to making the points. Now we will make the pointers like we had yesterday. Okay, so the first point is manipulation of variables, which I just finished marking off. As I had done for the previous video, I will explain to you in my commentary. I'll give you a fully expanded point, but I will write down just like an outline. Again, if you need to, do refer to that last video. If you have not seen it already, like how I'm explaining, how I'm writing, the idea of that you will get. See, as far as manipulation is concerned, the researchers are assuming that if participants are remembering things like loyalty cards, conveyor belts, which were not shown to them, then they are using schema. So schema is becoming the cause for remembering these type of things that did not exist. The problem is they have not manipulated schema. Ideally, there should be a control group which should not be using any schema or should not be exposed to any schema, and one experimental group which is like primed to use a schema or exposed to some schema. And then if only the schema group ends up remembering these type of things, we say that they have used a schema. And if the control group does not use any schema, they don't remember things like a supermarket basket or loyalty card and all, then we say that only when schemas are activated there is recognition error, or schemas cause recognition error. But there's no such comparison in the study. There's no control group which is not using schema, because there is no direct manipulation of schema. It's all going on an assumption that participant schemas must have got activated just as soon as they were exposed to a supermarket situation. Cause effect relationships cannot be drawn on the basis of assumptions. They have to be drawn on the basis of having a proper control group and comparing against that control group. So that baseline control group has to be there, which is missing. So my point here is going to be schemas not directly manipulated, and this is a weakness. I told you in the previous video, I like to note for my own preference for writing the answer strengths and weaknesses I'm noting, otherwise it's not required. It just has to be critical thinking. So this is going to be my first weakness point that I'm going to discuss. And in the outline, this much writing, this much is sufficient. Next, control over confounding variables. That was there in this study. Now, coming back to the annotations, I mark controls here, how the duration of the clip which they saw was standardized, how the scoring scheme was standardized, two raters using the same fixed scoring scheme to mark the recognition answer of the participants. Also the controls in terms of using interscorer reliability so that there's no confounding on part of subjectivity of a single researcher. Definitely controls are there. To the extent that controls are there, we have not allowed these factors which are pointed out here, like duration of the video clip or subjectivity of researcher to some extent, and variations in the marking guide being used. We can assume that the problems in recognition test must be coming from schemas. Of course, in the alternative explanations point, we will discuss that still there are other alternative explanations which they haven't control for. But at least these ones they have control for, and that much merit can be given to this study. This can definitely be considered to be a strength. So here what I will write for a quick outline is standardization of duration of video clip, interscorer reliability, etc. It's a strength. It's a good thing that they have controlled these things to some extent, not fully. When we are writing the expanded point, we'll write to some extent cause-effect relationship could be established. Given that this control was a little more confidence in the cause-effect relationship. Next one is temporal sequence, like I told you, for causality. It is important that the cause should precede the effect. Did that happen in this study? Yes. See, by researchers' own definition, we saw at this point, when participants view a supermarket video scene, at that time their schema gets activated. Like what they expect in the supermarket scenario, that gets activated. And later, after that, they are being made to do the recognition test. So it's going in logical order. First schema should get activated. Schema is getting activated or not is a question by itself. But logically that should come first, and according to researchers, watching the clip is only enough to activate the schema. So yes, in their procedure, schema activation is happening first, and that is being followed by giving a recognition test. So schema, then recognition test. Assumed cause of the researcher and then the effect of that. That is a strength. That thing they follow, that cause comes before effect, it's not happening simultaneously, or the cause is not happening after the effect. So again, to that limited extent, yes, some strength is given to the causality argument by this sequencing. So how will I note it on the outline? Schema activation occurred before recognition. Strength. Okay, finally, alternative explanations. Like I told you, in the situation itself, we won't get the alternative explanation because researchers are not assuming any alternative. They are thinking their explanation is right. So that is the only thing we are exposed to in the situation. So what can we give in this? We have learned so much about learning and cognition, the whole context, we have learned so much. You must have gone over criticisms also directly, which are given in your textbook for schema theory. From that, you must have got an idea that in these type of studies, for example, you must have learned Brewer and trends. In the study, you must have learned about Bartlett's theory. Possible alternative explanations are that people are not using schemas, they are just guessing. Like if supposing I'm a participant in the study, I saw a supermarket situation, I didn't see very carefully, or I saw carefully but now I can't remember, and now the researchers are telling me, write down, recognize what you saw. I don't know, I don't remember most of it. So what I do is I start guessing. Okay, must be, there must be a supermarket basket. Okay, there must be this loyalty card in it. Does it mean that schema has altered my memory? That is what the researchers are proposing, right? That when I was watching the video clip, the schema changed my memory, and that is why now I am recognizing anything which was not actually there. No, I'm just guessing. I'm just trying to get the highest score possible. No schema has influenced my memory. In fact, I might be well aware that I'm just purposely trying to mark off things to increase my scores, and that's why I'm doing it. So, guessing, trying to get a higher score, uh, trying to, give a good test performance, that by itself can be an alternative explanation of why people thought that, there were shopping baskets or conveyor belts in the scene, even though they were not really there. So, these examples we can give. One pro tip or one thing I want to emphasize upon is students, when they talk of alternative explanations, this is something across boards, they don't give concrete examples. They'll say there can be another explanation, there must be another explanation. But you give an example, know what it is. Like I gave you just now, guessing could have been there, desire to perform well on the test could have been there. Don't give vague points. In fact, I have come across many of my tutees who tell me their school teachers said that, don't give alternative explanation. If it is not there scientifically, then don't give. The whole point of an alternative explanation is it does not have to be empirical. It can be logical. It can be based on reasoning. If you look at the most top books that we have in psychology written by top authors, if you look at the top courses we have, like Uplearn and other courses are there online, they always suggest alternative explanation. So I don't know from where this idea is coming that if an alternative explanation has not been empirically tested, you cannot talk about that. If that was the case, that only if it's empirically tested, then you can talk about it, then alternative explanations would not exist today, because first it comes to someone's mind that this explanation can be done, then they experiment on it. They don't experiment and then come to know what must be the alternative explanation. Doesn't make sense. So always when you talk about alternative explanations, do give a specific one to enhance your point and to make it score worthy. Just saying that there must be alternative, that's very generic. For any explanation on earth, I can say there must be some alternative. So make sure you're writing something. In this case, like I told you, guessing, desire to score well, just assuming what must be common things in supermarkets, that can be the easiest parsimonious explanation, aside from activation of schemas, why participants remembered certain elements in the supermarket. As for my outline, what I'm going to write is alternative explanations instead of schema, guessing, desire to enhance test performance, could be explanations. So this is a weakness, because if this is the case, then causality is not there. The real cause for poor performance on recognition tests might be guessing instead of schema. So cause effect cannot be established. So I have done all the annotating and I have noted down the points. I'll just show you again quickly. This was my annotation and this was my noting down of the outline that can be done. Now, like last time, this is a short lesson, so only one of the points I will be able to expand and show you how we should write in the answer. Manipulation of variables is the first point. I'll just show it to you how we can write. Okay, let's revise the Peel format of writing. We begin with a point. We point out to the examiner that this paragraph is going to be on this discussion. One weakness of causality is that activation of schemas was not directly manipulated by researchers. So this is my point. What will I do next? I will give evidence. On what basis am I saying this? Specifically from this context, how do I know they were not manipulating? If they were not manipulating, what were they doing? The researchers assumed that exposing participants to the supermarket video clip. See how I'm using wording from the situation. See how I'm making it specific. I'm not just going on saying schema, 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 or memory, memory. I'm talking in this context what is happening. So to the supermarket video clip, participants, supermarket schema must have been activated. Okay, now I've given the evidence also. Now I have to explain why did I say that this is a weakness. So this is a weakness because, again, contextualized point. This is a weakness because in the absence of a comparison group, with no activation of schema, it cannot be inferred that schema activation caused errors in recognition performance. This is the point I explained to you about not having a control group or a baseline for comparison. And now what we have to do, link. We have to give a conclusion. We have to link back to the larger issue of causality. So what does this show us in terms of causality in this study? This shows that, or therefore, you can conclude that way. Therefore, causality between use of schemas and memory is difficult to establish. Again, use tentative language. I think I told you yesterday also, don't use definitive language, because we cannot say 100% their conclusion is wrong just because they did not do manipulation. Maybe they are right. So it's difficult to establish. It's not there, or it's impossible. Don't use that language. Is difficult to establish. That's it. Okay, so now we have seen for the same situation how we can apply a different concept. That's why in 2B, when you get those, 4 concepts, students will always ask me, can we use any of these concepts? Is it like some we should use, some we shouldn't use, or some are better than others? Of course not. As well as we applied bias yesterday to this situation, I hope you have seen in this demonstration, as well as we applied bias, that well we have applied causality also. And in the next video, I'll show as well we can apply change also to the same situation. So I hope this practice has been useful to you. And if you have any comments, any feedback about these videos, do leave them in the comment section below. I do read all your comments and I will respond to them as soon as I possibly can. Thank you for watching the video and stay tuned for the next one, which is going to be on change. Goodbye.